And welcome back to the marketplace and to show business, the lighter side of things. Earlier this week, popular Nigerian actress and producer Bimbo Ademoye called out Ghanaian television stations for airing her movies without permission. Her statement highlights a growing issue in the African entertainment industry, unauthorized broadcast and intellectual property theft. Well, joining me is culture journalist Kenneth Awochedako, who is back from groomsmen duties. To discuss the implications of the issue and the way forward, we'll show you a picture of him and others at Kofi Eje's wedding. By the way, he's off the market. And so back to the issue. I mean, oh, there you go. that's him.
And that's the new newlywed gentleman, Kofi Eje, who's off the market now.
Well, yeah. He's off the market.
Looking fantastic.
Yeah, looking fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's Ken Awochedako. Anyway,
it's Kofi's day.
Our way of saying congratulations to Kofi Eje and watch Beyond the Numbers later today, although he will not be on. But back to our subject for discussion. How big of a problem is this thing with unauthorized movie broadcasting in Ghana? Why is Bimbo's case significant?
So imagine being having, for instance, this is how I think we can put this in context. So having like a big shop and having your ware being sold and advertised in front of your shop and having another person come set up right in front of you and then be giving out your wares for free. Mm-hmm. That is exactly what the situation with this Nigerian producer is. So what the frustration is that having invested so much in creating and putting together the level of production that you need to be able to put out a film, only to have television stations show them on their stations for free, and it is something that is being very frustrating for people who are pushing so much investment into this art form. And so that is one thing that is frustrating them, and also the fact that it's coming from a producer and an actress as big as Bimbo, it makes it quite, it sort of doubles down on the issue because it is now being seen as something that is at the forefront of things. Initially, there are producers who might not have that clout to come out and then speak because most of them like to be behind the scenes and allow the actors do their thing. So even though they own these art pieces, they do not have that capacity to speak on the content because most of the time, it's usually said that you let the art speak for itself. And so if you are seen talking about the art in a different form, people feel like you are going outside what the core values of art actually is. And so that's why it's important that an actress like herself, who is also a film producer, stands in front of the issues and then speaks about them vehemently.
Yeah, the team in the control room put a video of her ranting. You can see, I think there's a tweet alongside where she tagged the president as well.
Exactly.
What are the legal implications for TV stations that broadcast movies without permission?
What many people do not know is there's actually a Copyright Act in Ghana which provides a framework within which broadcasters are allowed to show some of these content. And so for a station like the ones that are in this country, for instance, and also the smaller ones, because most of them are the ones that are found, as corporates in these issues, because they feel like because they are smaller entities, the law cannot come after them. And so most of them seem to get away with some of these infringements. And so if they understand that there are laws that guide some of these things, and so most of what they need to do is that they have to make sure that every content that is being put out by their channel, they ensure that it is in line with the Copyright Act, and also ensure that they have the various agreements and the various permissions from each stakeholder in the value chain to be able to show these things to ensure that they are not hit by legal suits, which are also a consideration that these producers can also resort to.
Yeah, but aren't these TV stations essentially promoting African cinema? That's what we've been pushing for, right? And,
It is indeed a form of projecting the art form and the culture as well. But the fact that it is being done illegally creates room for ethical issues. Mm-hmm. Because the fact that it is something that is something good that you're doing, trying to push the culture out there, does not mean that you should find alternative ways of doing that. The legal route to use is to seek permission from the authorities, if it's supposed to be from the Film Producers Association, whichever entity that's being the regulatory body, whichever organization is supposed to be, consulted before some of these things are done to ensure that legal issues do not come up in the process.
Yeah, well, just referring to a tweet there, I'm just reading a bit of it. So since it's gotten to this stage, I believe Mr. President, sir, with all due respect, sir, it's time to weigh in. This has become an international embarrassment, she says. 15 seconds, I'm told I have. What's the way forward, for channels that are complicit?
the way forward is, having conversations, coming to a consensus. Film producers, broadcasters, in the value chain, everyone who is concerned with the movie industry and the film. It's not even limited to movie, but music and other art forms as well, because you are seeing people exhibit art in some galleries that are not being allowed to. And so there needs to be conversation and education as to how it can be done in a proper way to ensure that both parties benefit from the airing of these content.
All right. Kenneth Auchidako, grateful for your time. We hear that you are going to be the next of the market. So, yes, that's the marketplace. Thanks for watching, everybody. I like the fact that they are putting the camera on you just to make a statement. myjoyonline.com /business. That's where to get the day's latest stories. Enjoy your weekend.